Here I've set up my short track fence to use as a router guide to cut the channel along here. I've marked out where the centre of the blade is and centred the router bit on top of that mark. I put a stop block here to stop naturally the router going past where I want to go. You'll see what I finish up with. I use this to set the depth. Naturally I bottomed out the router on top, put this under the gate. Actually I don't know how I'm going to be working this because the router's back to front because of this orientation. You're normally supposed to be working on the other side of the track, I presume, I don't know. But this is the way I can only set it up. So I've got no choice but to do it this way. Or have I? The reason for that, I'm just thinking out loud now, is you see, because the track lifts the router off the base, you need this outrigger to keep it horizontal. However, it can't be, I've got to do it this way. It's got to be on this side, which means that the router is facing the other way. I've actually plunged the router a few mil down to take a test cut. I've got the hose ready to be set up, plug in, and let's just hope it'll work. Everything all connected, just a matter of turning it on, and let's hope I can keep it going. Damn, that's getting in your way. Oh shit, hang on. Get that out of the way. And let's see how that goes. Probably gone in a bit too far. I might have to drill a few extra holes, but it seems robust enough. Now I've got to use the Inca track because the doovies I've got running down won't fit the creek track. It only fits the Inca, which means that once I go down through, because this is actually nearly half an inch, if I go down 3/4, I'm not going to have much underneath to actually what's the word for it, bolt or screw this track down in there. So what I'm going to do is, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Alright, rather than stuff around with the camera, I'm going to plunge all the way down till I get the right depth gradually, and then I'll get back. The final plunge, I went a tad too heavy and dropped it about 2 mil below the surface, which I didn't like. So I then raised it. It's now about 1/2 mil, and that to me is good enough. I'd rather have it just a tad under than over. This bottom bit I'll have to, because it now tilts, I'll have to shim out with something, probably I might get a sliver of something and glue it in there. an oopsie when I routed. I hadn't screwed this end down, so naturally it just gone missing. So I'll have to screw it down. Unfortunately, I haven't got much meat to screw it down on. But I'll have to make do. It'll need probably 4 screws. But yeah, bummer. Fortunately, with the extra 6mm MDF, this isn't as bad as I thought it could have been. Yeah, it's about a mil I've got to drop. So I can screw this on, because what I was going to do is screw something under here, like a bit of timber. I still might do it, just to be able to use longer screws on the T-tracks. 2 screws isn't enough. I'll probably do another one. Hang on, how does this work? It'll come through here. That one's right on the edge, which I don't like there. I might actually put 2 more, one in each, in the middle of each, and I wouldn't mind countersinking them up, although yeah, I will. I'll probably countersink. I don't like not having those countersunks. So I shall go and do that next. I might even use my new Vixie. Hang on. Actually, not Vixie. They're called Vortex. I think Viking or something like that. I got them off Taylor Tools in the States. They're brilliant for metal. Naturally, they'll be good for aluminium and hardwood. But the beauty of these are their points. They don't drift, and well, for metal, they go through like butter. Yeah, that one should do. The beauty of it is, as I said, they've got this nice little point whereby they just don't drift. Brilliant. Okay, really don't know what I was thinking before when I was doing this. However, I actually lined up the track, or the centre of this T-track, with the centre of the blade, which is okay for a router circle cutter, but not for a blade cutter. I should have lined it up with the edge or the teeth of the blade. Probably more correctly the gullet, but look, I'll allow for the teeth just in case I use a thicker blade and whatever. Now, I'll mark that spot, and you'll probably notice, actually, what I'll have to do is I'll glue the, screw this on, but if I remove the router, the Carvex, where can I put it? It won't fall any further. The gap is close to 5mm, which is a significant, well, to me it's significant. So I've got to then move the thing. Now look, I'll be setting it up exactly the same way as I did before, with the tracksaw track, adjusted by that 5mm and cut it. Look, I'm not going to take pictures. You've seen how I did it, so I'll just leave it at that. Let's analyse what has just happened. I've extended the trench, or the dado, or call it whatever you like, Again, I plunged a tad too far down with the router, so I've made up a bit of a sliver to slip in there, which will then flush that, stop that from rocking. However, I did initially, when I had it over this side, drill a hole because I was going to mount it. Then that's when I realised, hey, I should have lined it up with the edge, not the middle of the blade. So what I'm going to do is glue this on, then drill a small pilot hole through the top so I can then drill down with something like I'll probably use an 8mm dowel to plug that hole, and that'll give the screw something to bite into. I don't want it to muck out, you know, on that little hole. And then after I've got that in place, I'll have to put glue some type of wood in there to pack that out. Not a big deal, you know, 5mm to slip it in, glue it in, and look, it mightn't look quite as pretty, but hey, it does the trick, and that's all I'm concerned about. Alright, once I've done all that, I'll polish this up again, and hopefully we'll be in a position to test or to make a test cut. Well, we shall see. I extended the dado just that little bit. As you can see, there's a gap down here. I made a little piece to fit in there. The only problem was it wouldn't bottom out properly because of this lip on the Inca fence. You might just see it there. And I wanted to get it down as far as possible to maximise glue depth. So what I have done, just to basically put it up my skeptics, I do use hand planes. I had to chamfer this little bit out, so I use my shoulder plane to dig this out, and as you can see, it's done a beautiful little job, and we'll also see how well it's worked. Right, here we are. It's in there. Let's get this oriented the right way. And it, well, I was going to say it fits. It doesn't actually quite fit. It's about, 0.5mm too high. So I'll have to fix that up a bit. All the cosmetics now have been fixed. Hang on, I don't know whether you can see that. I'll get into this in a minute. As I mentioned previously, that I cut a channel in there just to give support to the track, but when it's not attached, I wanted to cover that up. I've made up this little piece. It's held in with a magnet, quite solid, won't move hopefully. I'll put a little finger grip in there so I can pull it out. And when you want to attach the outfeed, not outfeed, but the circle support, you take this off and put it somewhere. Maybe I should put a magnet underneath, because guaranteed I'll put this somewhere where I won't find it. But anyway, not to worry. With this one, I sort of made a, hang on, I'll zoom out. I did I don't know whether it's silly or not, it's sort of, I'm in two minds about it. Put this piece on underneath. The reason for that is just to give extra meat for the screws, because look, there won't be much pressure, but I was using 19mm screws, which poked out, so I put that under it to give it a bit of support. Then I thought, oh bugger it, I'll put that in there so I can push it in and captivate it both top and bottom. The only problem is that normally once you use these TSO dogs on these, once you loosen them up, the best way to remove it is to push this, lever it up so these can pop out. Now with this unit there, and even that, I can't lever, which means I've got to get under the table to pop it out. But anyway, not to worry, let's put this together, as you can see, and then everything being equal, and this is why I just love these TSO dogs. I haven't done them up too, I don't use them up too tight for those who haven't seen it. I've got it on a setting of 4, which will start ratcheting very quickly, but it does apply enough pressure that these are held as secure as you need to. Now, to put in the pivot pin, let's see, might zoom in a little bit closer. There. To put the pivot pin, and I really don't know where I bought these. I bought these things in bulk when I was making my circle cutter for the bandsaw. And they fit the Inca tracks. They don't fit the Craig or the Rockler tracks. I have 3 of them. One has a pivot, and the other 2 I just use as lock pins either side, because on this I can't get enough pressure to hold it down firmly, short of using a pair of pliers. Alternatively, I could cut a little notch on the end there and use a screwdriver, but I prefer not to. So I put one in on one side, put that in the middle, and put it on the other side. Now, often you'll find, hang on, I might need to loosen that up a bit, 1/8 inch thing. So I must have bought it in Yankee Land somewhere, because it is, as I said, 1/8 inch rather than 3mm. Now, one of the problems you have with circle cutters is to actually get the correct distance from your blade to your pivot point. Now, what I do, forgetting about what other people do or whatever, but what I do, hang on, here's one, there's the other. I laser print, because I've got a laser, these little templates out of MDF. There's no reason why you can't cut it, print it out on paper and cut it out and use paper. I just like the solid of this. Now, also you'll find that there's 2 differences here. 295mm diameter, outside diameter, inside diameter. Look, I'm not going to go into which is which or why is why, other than the fact that if you consider say a circle cutter on a router that uses a 1/4 inch diameter bit, you can appreciate that if you want the outside diameter, which would be for a circle you want, so you're after the outside diameter, is a certain setting, but if you want the sorry, that's the inside diameter. However, if you want the outside diameter, for argument's sake, you want to remove a circle and have the surrounding bit in it, you need the outside diameter of the circle you're cutting. And in a router bit, you know, a 1/4 inch router bit, you're looking at 6.35mm or whatever. So it's significant. In here, it's only 1.5mm difference, and often you'll finish up having that much error anyway, trying to line it up, and you'll find many circle cutters go up in increments of half an inch or an inch or whatever. So to me 1.5 mil would be no different, but I can do it, so why not? So what I do, let's just say we're going to go for an inside diameter. When I say it's going to be the inside diameter of the circle, not the inside diameter of the round. Sorry, forget it, just I'm going to use this. And the way I use this is, these are sitting in there. I put the hole, this is a 5 mil hole, which is the circumference of, diameter of the pivot hole. I push this blade back into its guard, otherwise it has this sideways tolerance, back into its guard. Push that against there, and bring the pin, bring that up into the pin. Now bear in mind this is now designed to be parallel. Bring the backing one up, and I tighten that. Once it's tight, I can then remove this. I'll bring the front one up and I'll tighten that as well. Look, the reason why I do it this way is this brass pin can only be, well, I can only do it up finger tight. Look, I could get a pair of pliers and grip it and tighten it, but look, that could mar it. I could have cut a slot in it and use a screwdriver. Look, I try and do it up finger tight and depend on these other two to hold it. Now theoretically I should now have a fairly tight 295 mil diameter hole. This is the inside diameter, so I'm actually going to cut a circle. Now, to line up your timber, look, I've made these, I'll use this, there's two ways of doing it. Let's put it this way. Damn it, hang on, this pin's in the way. I'll remove the pin and hope I don't lose it. Hang on, I'll put it in my top pocket, and if I lose it you can tell me where it is. Two ways of, I've already drawn diagrams only because I started recording and forgot to turn the camera on. Or it actually might have been I run out of battery. So, but anyway, to do a piece of timber, what you could do is butt that against the blade. Then to find the centre, hang on, I'll go and get a drill bit.